Quentin Tarantino's best movies contains a movie that doesn't exist. Except, I own the soundtrack. Someone actually made a soundtrack for a movie that was never made. Fasten your seatbelts. We have a weird one today. It's a story about fiction escaping into the real world. Okay, let's start to unpack this. Mia Wallace is a fictional character portrayed by Uma Thurman in the 1994 Quentin Tarantino film Pulp Fiction. In the movie, Mia is the wife of the crime boss Marcellus Wallace. But before meeting Wallace, Mia was an aspiring actress who appeared in a television pilot called Fox Force 5, which failed and never went anywhere. It was a show about 5 women crime fighters. One was the group's blonde leader, the other a Japanese kung fu master, the other person a Chinese demolition expert, the other woman a French seductress, and then Mia's character was Raven McCoy, who was a deadly expert in knives. Uma Thurman's character, Mia, in the movie continues to give more information about Fox Force 5 to her co-star, John Travolta, inside a nightclub called Jackrabbit Slim's. You can tell from her conversation in the film that she was regretful that Fox Force 5 was never developed beyond just a pilot. So, if the movie doesn't exist, who made this? Well, we're going to have to walk down a bit of a dark road together because there isn't a big pile of details out there. First things first, this is really a great piece of music. Whether you care about this movie or Quentin Tarantino or Pulp Fiction, it's a really solid package of 70s style soul and R&B and funk. It'll remind you of some of the blaxploitation soundtracks you may have heard in your life, as well as a little bit of Isaac Hayes, a little bit of the Tower of Power horns, maybe a little bit of Curtis Mayfield and Superfly as well. It's a really well executed package of retro soul, and I think you would enjoy it. Beyond that, the people that you see noted here that are participants in this album are not names that I'm very familiar with at all. And then also the name of the group, the Funk Soul Brothers, although it's certainly a good match for the music inside this album, it's not a group that I've ever heard of either. Let's start taking a look at some of the tea leaves we have for this mysterious album. Okay, let's start looking at the few scraps that we have that are potential clues for this mysterious album. If you go to the back cover of this record, there's some notes, and the entire essay is written as though the author is actually playing along with the illusion we have here. You'll notice a lot of hedging language, a lot of dodging and weaving, no definitive statements being made. And that's just not how liner notes are usually written on albums. Another thing to look at, those back liner notes say that Fox Force 5 was produced back in 1974. Then later they speculate Saturday Night Fever may have been an impediment to the record's success. However, Saturday Night Fever wasn't released until 1977. They also write, it's uncertain if the album will also be released on 8-track cassette. Now, that gave me a little bit of a laugh. In the 2010s, when this came out, I doubt that there were more than a small handful of people that were hoping for an 8-track of this album. Disclosure Records, the label for this soundtrack, has no mention of this LP on their website. And any evidence that the Funk Soul Brothers are an actual group is not to be found. And then lastly, as we come toward the end of those notes, there's a sentence that says, "This is the official Fox Force 5 soundtrack album." Why use the word official? Official according to whom? Another thing to mention that's separate from these back cover notes is that there's one online interview about the album with the alleged songwriter, a guy named Steve Secchi, who's repeatedly offering an explanation saying, there are people involved who do not want to talk about it. He also says that he was given a script, never saw the film, and believes it may never have been produced. Okay, now that we've walked through some of the very small details, you can tell there's no smoking gun that cracks this mystery case for us. Let's take a look at what are some very plausible scenarios for how this album was created and how it moved forward into our hands. And I hope you, the viewers, will have some info to share and post about this because it's a mystery. Okay, I racked my brain and we have 5 plausible scenarios for how this record came to be. Number 1 theory would be a small group of musicians and soundtrack enthusiasts and Pulp Fiction fans loved the Fox Force 5 idea so much that they thought, wouldn't it be fun if this soundtrack actually existed? Another plausible theory, maybe Disclosure Records discovered the music and decided, if we explain everything, the magic disappears. So instead of having a press conference or press release, they decided to continue with the mythology. Number 3, someone close to Tarantino's creative circle. Maybe somebody who worked with Tarantino had quietly encouraged it. Could it have been blessed informally? Maybe. But do we have any evidence of that? Absolutely not. Another theory that's plausible, maybe Tarantino himself had something to do with this. It's fun to imagine, absolutely. Is it impossible? No. Is there any evidence? Absolutely none that I've seen. It's tempting to think that Tarantino might be smiling somewhere knowing this album exists, but after doing all my research, I couldn't find a shred of evidence connecting him to the creation of this album. And the last theory is that the album was always meant to be the punchline. Not who made it, but why. Imagine if the creators wanted the album to behave exactly like Fox Force 5 itself. Half real and half myth. Maybe Fox Force 5 was never supposed to exist. Maybe it was supposed to stay somewhere between fiction and reality. If you know something about the creation of this record, I'd love to hear from you. Well, every record has a story, and we plan to bring you many more. I want to thank you for listening, and please support our channel and subscribe. Till next time.